Test, test, test. How's that? Hello, hello. Yeah, all right, that's better. That's better. Can you should be able to hear me now? Yeah, yeah. I don't know why the thing it changed automatically because the mic wasn't on mute. Sorry, guys. Do apologize. But anyway, that's sorted. So what I was saying is I hope you've all had a really good week. It's been a pretty good comeback week for me. Quiet one, but good one nonetheless. So it's good to be back. And as always, I hope you guys had a good one, and let's get cracking with the analysis. Don't want to miss out on anything. I was just mentioning there's not much in way of news for the rest of today. So we'll start with the analysis and see what we can come up with moving forward on both the GJ and gold. So let's quickly look at gold and see if there are any potential options on the open of the next hourly candle. At this rate, I think GJ looks more of a shot, more of a go. So we're going to start with GJ. I want to get it out of the way before the closure of this candle. So looking at GJ and starting the weekly time frame, what we can see is it's still forming quite a strong bullish candle. It has pulled back quite significantly within its own candle, but still, to look at that, it's got a higher low, higher high. So once again, pullbacks to levels of support. See if we are going to form support and head back up. The daily counter probabilities to the downside, structure to the downside. So again, based off that may suggest potential for a deeper correction. If we were to continue bearish, there is not much of a need for us to pull back up and break our own high. Let's just mark in that point there. And let's also mark in the current daily candles low and see what we've got either side of that. So it's technically bearish in structure. The 4 hours also going to be bearish because it does flip back bullish at the same point. The daily will flip back bullish, still below that point there. But technically we are bearish in a 4 hour, but what we can see is have been creating some higher highs, higher lows. So the micro trend itself is bullish. We've got the previous candle closing a strong bearish candle, tapped into that support. We're bouncing off it. Support lines up with some previous resistance here to the left hand side. The resistance at the current daily candle high, that's the 4-hour resistance, so we're going to mark that level in. That is the current 4-hour range. Now let's quickly go into the 30-minute time frame. So we know we're at a 4-hour support. The M30 structure is also bearish, so the bias is technically bearish, but seeing we've got that weekly candle still forming relatively strong bullish, I'm not opposed to buying it, guys. So what I want to see just now is my catalyst. So right now, what we've got is a potential catalyst. We've got the 30-minute closing at the moment, or in the next 2.5 minutes, potentially bullish engulfing. Let's quickly look at it on the M15. Create a minor resistance. We're potentially closing above that minor resistance. Not a great deal of margin to the upside. However, having said that, I could begin to look to manage it. Price did tap into that level, just in case it did reject. But based off the 30, let's just measure it. Do we have the margin? This all comes down to the margin, and we do. We've got about 17-18 pips. It's not a great deal, but for me, seeing we are potentially forming that catalyst at a level of support, and it's a 4-hour level of support, if we were to, once again, bullish engulfing in the next minute and 50 seconds roughly, then I will look to potentially execute a buy on the following candle, on the new hourly candle. So the hourly also closed back a bullish candle with a long wick to the downside. We've got that previous M30 closing with long wick to the downside, suggesting we're rejecting this support to the left, only to close back above it. Perhaps we've grabbed some liquidity from the downside. We are to begin to break above the catalyst candle's high, and that could be the option to buy it. So what I want to see is the new candle. First of all, this candle's closing engulfing, followed by a new candle creating a bit of a low wick, and then look for potential buys upon continuation. So that is what I am currently going to be lining up, guys, and then I will focus on gold in just over a minute from now. Just don't want to miss this in case it does give me the opportunity to take an entry. So I'm just getting ready for potential entries on GJ, guys. So if you're following along and you're keen on this, stop loss will be below the current M30 once it closes. The entry will be just above current M30 once it closes. So around that 80 level, you are using IC markets on 96.80. But I really want it to close strong. Don't want it to start pulling back. So that is what I'm currently looking at, guys. And if it doesn't provide my catalyst just now and it eventually pops back up, I'm going to be looking for sells from the resistance in line with the structure, in line with the bias upon the pullback. So that's the options. Buys above it. That is GJ. Get ready for potential entries, guys. Want to see a low wick form on the new candle. All right, want to see a decent low wick. All right, so I'm going to set an order now for that 80 level. On 96.80. Stop loss below the previous M30. And what I can do is, as soon as it gets triggered in, what I can do is I can automatically just start moving my stop loss up a bit, or I can just cut half if it did break its own low yet again. Seeing it has got that lower wick, if it breaks the high of that previous candle, you got high, low, higher, high. So at that point there is not much need. If it was to continue bullish for a price to pull back down and break its own low, did so, you start looking to cut the trade as per the way I manage my trades. So you guys know I don't like to take any full losses. Always begin to manage my trades. So that's what I'm currently looking at, guys. How did gold close? Close back bullish as well. Potential in gold as well, to be honest, guys. Doesn't look that bad, but it's a bit of a slow trickle. So let me put an alert on GJ. Actually, looks like it could get triggered in, so I'll focus on it for the time being, and then I'll turn my attention to gold shortly. In the meantime, guys, if you could, please smash that like button. Be much appreciated. I'm going to start doing some giveaways. So if you guys haven't already joined the Discord, the free Discord, make sure to do so, because I'm going to pay attention over the next few weeks to whoever the most active person is in that group, and they will get a VIP membership. So make sure to get involved. All right, so I'll set an alert and I will now have a look at gold. Don't want this to pull back too far. If that is to be the case, then I might need to remove the order and wait for another 15-minute candle closure minimum. So let's just set an alert on GJ, so if it does begin to break its own high again, I can focus back on that and I'll start to have a look at gold. All right, so looking at the gold now, guys, starting at the weekly time frame, and it has flipped back bullish. It's got a high low high high to the previous candle. Long wick to the upside, suggesting that potentially we are showing some signs of exhaustion on the higher time frame after creating yet again another all-time high. Daily, we've got structure to the upside. We've got the previous daily closing bullish. We've got the current without an upper wick, so let's just mark in the open of the current daily candle. Also marking the low of the current daily and see what we've got either side of that. But we know we are bullish in structure. Pretty strong closure in that previous daily candle up against that bearish engulfing candle. Maybe we could be grabbing a little bit more liquidity from the downside before we potentially flip bullish and head back up onto the 4-hour time frame. Once again, I'm calling it bearish, but I can understand if you're considering it bullish. I'm considering it bearish because it closed below the lowest point of this bullish candle, which forms support, confirms support. So I'm actually calling it bearish in a 4-hour. That is the current range. We're actually out of support. I'll mark it in though on the M30 and the M30 structure itself. And I'm just going to mark in a few zones here. So we've got some clean levels above 27.36, 30 or 36.40, roughly 50. Up to the highs at 27.42.50, the highest of the 4-hour resistance. So I'm just gonna add multiple zones for that 4-hour level. Now the M30 structure itself is still bearish, so the bias is technically neutral. We've got the higher time frames to the upside, we've got lower time frames to the downside. So therefore, what I could do is, and with the weekly counter forming bullish at the moment, really look to trade in our direction. Seeing we're at support. And there is no real momentum, similar to yesterday, but eventually it did just take off around this time of day too. So perhaps if this candle closed a bit of a pause at some point, it gave us a bit of a resistance. Maybe even if this 15 closed bearish, I need some sort of catalyst, a strong catalyst. So maybe if this candle was closed bearish, the 15, followed by a nice strong bullish candle to close us into London open, then that might be my catalyst. So obviously that will be green. That might be my catalyst to look for a potential buy to take it back up towards the resistance at 27.36. So today's gold, I'd rather look for the buys at the moment from support, seeing we're at support. So I'm just going to mark in buys from support. Now further options, if we do pull up and reject, then obviously I'm going to be looking for my sells from resistance. We're still technically bearish in structure on the 30-minute, so that would be ideal to look for sells from higher up. Buys above the resistance at 20, like I mentioned before, 27.37.50 roughly. At that point there, we've got some clean traffic up to the actual high of the 4-hour resistance, so I'd be looking for the buy option above that point there. Preference will be a candle closure. For the sells, what I need to see is at this stage, seeing you running into support is a nice clean move down, cut through that mess, pull back, then form a resistance right at the lower high, and then potentially look for the sell option from below the lows. Today's goal for the time being, guys, anyway, focus is on to GJ. Let's just keep an eye on that. And let me say g'day to everyone in the chat. If you could, make sure to hit the like button. Franco, more into you. Tony Gold, hope you're well, mate. Beats Voyager, as always. Edris, good morning. Thank you for your hello. Appreciate it. Yep, so I've done gold now anyway, but GJ looks like it could get triggered in shortly. So let's see. just been triggered in. It's Friday, so I don't go balls deep on a Friday. It's just never do on a Friday and Monday, but so we'll see. So I'm gonna start adjusting stop loss. To just below the entry candle. Oz, thanks for your inputs. I appreciate it. Thank you for your support. So I've already cut the stop loss by about around 7-8 pips. And if it flips back bearish, I'm going to cut half of that point. Already looking to mitigate risk. That's what, in my opinion, we should be doing as traders. Always look to manage your risk. Performed quite a nice lower wick. There you guys. Alright, we're tapped into the 15-minute resistance, so got about 5.5 pips on the table, 6 pips. So if it does come back to entry, I'm going to at least cut half. I may even cut the whole thing because we're tapping into the 15-minute resistance. I've just seen it on my MetaTrader. So as per my rules, if we are tapping into a level, that's when we begin to manage it. So looking good, 8 pips, 7.5 pips on the table. So I've got stop loss to entry. There we go, I've closed half at 10. Job done, nice and easy. For those 15 of you on stream, I hope you got some of that. And that's how we roll, guys. That's how we roll. So, it's perfect trade, very, very little drawdown. Fire start, guys. Smash the like button. Let's get this chat pumping. We need to get the chat pumping because that is one of the only ways to get people on the stream. So, job done, guys. That's how we roll. Well done, good work. just wish I had more on stream. But anyway, that's their bad luck because we continue to kill it. We continue to kill it. Well, anyone else take it? What, this 9 pip profit? I got 10, mate. I got exactly on 10, a bit more than 10. So I'm a scalper, mate. I'm a scalper. I always manage my trades in drawdown. I did mention how I was going to manage my trade in drawdown, and TP1 is generally around 10 for me. Sometimes it's a bit more, sometimes it's even a little bit less. So I see wherever I see fit to take some profit, I trade it. And when you're trading within a range too, you can't be greedy. Range holds priority. There are areas it could reject. It is currently at a 15-minute resistance. There is not much margin up until the next level of resistance, so don't be greedy. That's what I suggest. It's what works for me. Whatever works for you, you do what works for you. I've still got a runner anyway. We'll see. Gold. So gold, 15 minutes closing that strong bearish candle. This is good. Now, if we get a bullish engulfing candle on the next 10-15, there's going to be options to buy it at London Open. So that is the next bet to best bet to wait on. Members, send you a link, by the way, if anyone is keen. There's more than 10 pips on the table now, so W, nice. 9 pips, nice one. My entry was at 80, right on 80. So you had more than 10. There is definitely more than 10. And what I would suggest is, if you haven't secured anything and you are in this, look at that. That's what you're heading into. So consider securing some profit, because it doesn't have to just burst through this. It could reject it. Can't anticipate it's just going to burst through it. I have realistic levels. I mean, it can do it, and it's trying to do it, and fantastic if it does it. But it is previous data, so price could react to it. Most recent resistance, so price could react to it. If it breaks it, then it's a good chance to team back up to 197, 130. So I'm actually going to adjust my full TP to that one 135 level is where I've got full TP. Currently you should have over 17 pips on the table. Why can I not get more viewers? 13 is just, it's not even worth me streaming. So guys, pump the chat. Who's in trades? Type 1 for yes, or Y for yes, N for no. Who's in trades? And I'll do a course giveaway very soon once I get numbers up. Not today because numbers aren't. I'm not going to get numbers there today. But once again, you guys help me out a bit. Up the chat. Free education, free trades. I mean, this is all about TikTok. I started a new channel for anyone who is on TikTok, so make sure to give it a follow. Link is down in the description below.
Hey, good morning, man.
G'day, mate. How are you?
Very good. How about you?
Nice one. Yeah, I'm absolutely exhausted, to be honest. I had about not even 3 hours sleep last night. I just couldn't sleep, and I was up at 5:20 a.m. this morning. So
Okay. So expecting the weekend to sleep the whole time, or?
no. The weekend's the worst time here for me. Friday to Sunday is like my busiest part of the week. So
Okay.
yeah, helping the family. So my brother's gonna be away as well. So
But you need to retire a little bit.
yeah, well, the way this stream is going, I'll probably be off in another, 15-20 minutes anyway. There's no point streaming when there's only 13 people watching. So
Yeah. And
very
for sure
frustrating.
you was already successful.
Yeah,
So this was a nice trade, man.
thank you. You
Very easy.
yeah, only a little bit of drawdown. I think I had about 1 or 2 pips, about 2 pips. So
Yeah, but I think you have to plan at the end. So it was clearly pointing out. So you were a little bit in profit. When
Yep.
prices come down, then you will get cut off the 50%. Price went up again. So
correct.
it was very, very good.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. It's just yeah, just following some simple rules. Prices at pretty solid level of support, bouncing off it. Nice closure on the hourly as well. Engulfing M30. That's what I want to see. Nice lower wick. An entry, my type of entry I look to take every day of the week.
Yeah, absolutely. So you know that I'm not the GGA fan.
Yep.
But this was a picture perfect setup to get involved.
Thank you, mate. Nice one. How's the week been?
Very less at the end. I had some private things to do, and I think this was my second trade this week.
Yep.
So,
Same as me.
yeah.
Second trade. So first one was this very small win after cutting half in a bit of drawdown. Now this one was a decent win. Nothing huge, but a win's a win. So
You have already 20% of your lot sizes open with that running GJ?
right now,
Yeah.
yeah, I've got 80%. I cut 80% at CPU1,
Okay.
so I've got 20% left. So
Okay. Good.
generally on GJ, I tend to cut 80% always at first TP. That's just how I roll GJ. Gold, a lot of time I'll cut just half because I know it's got more scope for a push. Generally speaking, has more volume. So once again, it's just what I find works for me.
And I think on GJ you mentioned it was on the M50. There was also a resistance there.
Yeah, correct. So
I think it was good at the end to close 80%.
Yep. Right on 10. Literally right on 10 I closed 80%. So
yeah. I had 9.4 pips in profit to close complete.
Nice one. Good end to the week.
Enough for me.
Good end to the week. So is that it for you for the week?
Pardon me?
Are you gonna still look at GU, or I saw you?
Yeah, I will sit a little bit, maybe until 10:30, 11.
Yep.
And maybe how the price envelopes. So yesterday in the morning I went out and then price went up. I was very bearish and I'm still bearish.
Yep.
On GU.
Yep, agreed.
And if the prices broke below this support area which I mentioned there,
yep,
maybe I can have some sells, but for sure I will have then a lower lot size for this trade than right now.
Yeah, fair enough.
Not risking my profits.
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't really give back profit after a win to begin on a Friday. So, but otherwise, I think your levels look good. Areas to get involved look good. So yeah, I'd be in favor of the sells as well, to be honest.
Yeah.
But just a matter of once again waiting.
Waiting game, correct.
The hardest part.
Absolutely.
Right here. How's gold going? Alright, so the good thing is gold's forming resistance at support. So once again, it's simple now. You just need to wait for a closure above the resistance. And it could be options. Gold, in my opinion, still looks pretty good. Still looks pretty good for some potential trades, but more so to the upside than the downside. If it was to continue to the downside just now, be a bit tricky because you don't have really any clean areas of price action to the left hand side. As soon as you break this support, you're running straight into that support and you run straight into another support. So bit of a tricky one. So like I mentioned before, in this situation, I'd prefer, if it was to continue bearish, create a nice clean impulse to the downside, pull back from that lower high, and then look for your catalyst within price action for potential options to sell it from lower down. So GJ 1 and done. Nice start. And now it's gold. My okay. So it's the rest of you. How's the week been, guys? Let me know. Talk to me. Has it been a good one? Has it been a tough one? Hopefully it's been a good one. More importantly, I hope you guys have been disciplined and follow your plan. As you know, that's what I really preach on this channel. Patience, discipline, following some rules, and you do. It's likely to be the end result. Not always, because we know it's game of probabilities. But if you are to stick to your rules, your plan, your edge, and you know it works for you. In my case, it's over 80%, but just stick to it. Might not present every day, it might not present every session, but if I do stick to it, I know there's a good chance it's going to be a nice trade. So that's the important part. Trust me, if you can begin to stick to your plan, your analysis, and have the patience and discipline to do so, and then you're going to start to seeing some massive changes in your trading. Alright, so this M30 is closing bearish with a long wick to the downside. There is no catalyst to buy it just now. If the next M30 closes engulfing, then there could be options at the open. The next M15 closes a strong bullish candle, and there could also be potential options. But one thing I would stress is, if you've had a nice win, you took this GJ trade for instance, and you had a decent win, don't need to force anything else on a Friday. So generally speaking, I'd take only one trade, but I'll keep an eye on it and see what develops of gold for any potential trade option. I have no idea how someone can just literally have this on a chart. Not speak and have like over 100 viewers on the live. How do you know that's where they got in, first of all? It's a frustrating game. It honestly is. This streaming is a bloody frustrating game. DJ is absolutely pumping at the moment, so looking good. Anyone alive in the YouTube chat? What's going on, guys? You're all currently in trades, or what's the deal? Spam that chat, just whatever, just say whatever, just get the chat ticking a bit. Some messages in the chat. The guy W, appreciate it. That's it, guys. That's it. Suman waiting. All good. All good. BJ is pumping. Something wrong with my can't see messages in the chat. Joe, what percent? 20%. Yeah, I secured 80%. I'm just gonna let the rest go. And that is literally my target. 197,135 is my target. Sketchmas chilling. Friday only taking optimus. Nice one. That's totally fine. I completely agree with that. That's really, it's all you can do on any given day, to be honest, but especially on a Friday and even a Monday, I would be, no, there's nothing wrong with being extra picky. So if it doesn't tick the box in accordance to your plan, then obviously, you know, just don't take it. Just wait for if and when something does. For me personally, this was a trade I would take every single day of the week. Just wary that I need to perhaps look to start managing it, as it was tapping into levels of resistance here to the left. So obviously I was managing it as soon as I got triggered in, either way. But yeah, getting back to what I was saying, that's what we should do as traders on any given day, is just trade in accordance to your plan, in accordance to what you believe to be a quality setup, which ticks all the boxes. You should have a set of rules, what you want to see prior to any entry, and when it does tick the box, that's when you enter. If and only when. If it doesn't, you just need to wait. I mean, you guys see me countless times on this stream line up a trade, and then it'll just be lacking one thing, one minor thing, like it may not have a low wick or upper wick, or one minor detail may not be engulfing, or whatever it is, and that's enough to put me off. Sometimes it means I miss out on a winning trade, sometimes it means I miss out on what would have been a losing trade. So irrespective, once again, like I said earlier, I know if I stick to my plan, my edge, what works for me, which, as we can see, this is likely to be a result more than 80% of the time. I couldn't stress it enough. It's a boring game. In all honesty, trading is a bloody boring game, because more than 90% of it is just sitting and waiting. In fact, probably more than 95%. You got maybe a couple percent only where you're actually active in doing something. Unless you're a micro scalper and you're constantly in and out of the 1 minute, which again, just not for me. I couldn't deal with the anxiety of watching this all the time. But who am I to judge? If it works for another person, fantastic. Joe, how many hours a day do you trade? You still doing the Asian session? Asian, I'm not really all that focused. What I'll do is I'll do my analysis. I generally send in some analysis to the members group, depending on what day it is. On Fridays, I send in a chart with a markup and description of what I want to see happen at different levels. The other day is I pretty much send in a video update along with charts. So I will keep an eye on. I'll have my analysis pre-Asian, and I'll check it from time to time. So I don't want to sit there all day. Plus, I'm busy on certain days. Otherwise, it's just basically London session. Tuesdays and Wednesdays will be into MY with the members. So I generally stick to about maximum anywhere between 2 and 4 hours a day, but I try to limit it, to be honest. I mean, the human mind can only focus optimally on any given task for around 30 minutes of a day, and that is fact. So if you're sitting there and you're waiting constantly and treating it like a full-time job, and you're sitting there for 8 to 10 hours a day, what's going to happen is you're going to get tired. You're going to start feeling a bit drowsy as well. It happens when you're just staring at a computer for so long. You might also feel a need to trade, seeing to justify your sitting there for so long of a day, and you might make an inerrant decision and just force something, which is, you know, very detrimental in the end of the day. So less is more. So I would say pick times that you can generally be on the charts each day and just stick to that, and just accept if you don't get a trade, it's part of it. If you get a trade, it's part of it. If you have a winning trade, it's part of it. If you have a losing trade, that's all part of it. It's just trading. Waiting is the most difficult part, Suman. It definitely is. Definitely is, but it's a lot easier when you're doing it amongst a group. So, you know, I mean, what I mean by that is like on these streams, things like that. So we'll see if JJ is going to hit full TP. Now, the option for gold will be, depending on the 15-minute closure, there could be buy options, but again, gotta be picky with it. So for me, seeing that was a bearish M30 closure, I'd rather wait for the M30 if I was to consider anything. I think it's the Friday. I've already had a win. I don't need to force anything, but I can give you guys the option, that's for sure. But I prefer to wait for the 30, but it may not wait for you. That's the only issue. So it would be valid on the 15. What you want to see right now, if you were to take a 15, that is the most recent resistance. You want to see price close above it. Closure above that point there, and then the entry above the catalyst candles high. Depending where it closes, depending what the highest point is in the next just under 4 minutes, that could be your entry. So it looks somewhat like so. And you're entering above the catalyst candle high. It's not too dissimilar to JJ, to be honest. Just a little bit more data printing on gold than what JJ had at the time. And it's quite similar, to be honest. Yeah, I think gold's starting to look pretty good for some buy options. Joe, any adjustments to your trading style in pre-New York? No, not really, because essentially your edge should work anytime, any session of the day. But I am wary, more so at the open of New York session, that the volume is very different, in my opinion, especially on gold. The volume does spike a bit all over the shop, so I'm a little bit more cautious as to jumping in. I like to let the candle develop a little bit before I jump in, so maybe that means waiting a couple of minutes before I'm entering, because yeah, that's one thing I've noticed. The volume is a little bit crazy at the open, and especially a little bit further into the session when you got NYSE opening. I think it's an hour and a half technically after. You got COMEX opening 20 minutes after New York open as well, so that perhaps that's why the volume spikes about a bit at the beginning. What I suggest to one of the individuals I've coached for probably about almost a year now is to maybe not even trade that first 30 minutes of NY. Let it credit move, let it do its thing. And a lot of the time what I find is after that, it will give you a sense of direction as to where it could be trending for the rest, well, moving forward into NY session. So that's what this person has done. And so far so good. I think the results have been better. That's something I would recommend to people. Personally, I don't like NY session. My win rate wouldn't be as high as what it is during London session, that's for sure. Having said that, I don't trade it as often as well, so. Alright, so GJ is less than a minute left. I mean, the only other option, seeing it is pushing quite heavily at the moment, would be that limit order. Now, the limit order would be at that point there. Today's the actual highest point of resistance, sorry, just a tad higher up. So that could be a potential option. A limit order around that 27.28, 27.29. Pretty much right on that point there. And that is your best option at this point if you are to look for anything on gold, in my opinion. M30 is still open, so just be wary of that. But you had a weak closure in that previous candle. That's to just grab liquidity from the downside. Current candle going to close a strong bullish one in the 15-minute. I wouldn't really want to look for the continuation by the M15. I'd rather get in a bit lower down, get a better stop loss as well. So your stop loss would be look somewhat like so. Stop loss below the M30. That's what you'd be looking at. For the limit order to be valid, wouldn't want to break the high prior to pulling back, and it's about to do that. So personally, if I was to look for a continuation buy, I wouldn't be in this either way because it's got no lower wick. Again, it's just my rules, because a lot of the time we see it pull back to create that lower wick, or want to get caught in that pullback. But anyway, that's gold. It's pushing right now. Nothing much I can do about it. And the next potential option would be now waiting for perhaps the 30 minutes to close. And if it did close pretty much where it's at, limit orders based off the 30-minute could also be valid. So still could be potential for gold moving forward. GJ, once again, if you're not in a GJ trade just now, and you just need to wait and see how it reacts to the resistance. Currently, runner is 20 pips up. So see how it goes if it hits the full TP. Quickly having a look at GCAD. So I did the analysis on it just before the stream, sent the chart into the members. What I'll do is I'll just remove the drawings and I'll do a quick rundown on it. So the weekly is forming bearish. Still not great that upper wick. Now, I've mentioned many times on stream, doesn't necessarily need to, so long as any pullback is met by resistance formed on the initial push to the downside. So far it seems to have been the case. It doesn't necessarily need pull back up and create an upper wick, and it still could do it. There's 14 hours left of the current weekly candle. Daily, off the back of that previous daily, with counter probabilities to the upside, if this candle broke the high of that previous candle, then I feel there could be a chance it could retest the high and open the current weekly candle back at that 180 280 level. As far as structure wise, it still is actually bearish, but you got counter probabilities to the upside. Onto the 4 hour, we can now pull up the drawings. Now the 4 hour is technically, by the looks of it, bearish in structure. So we've got 4 hour bearish, we've got the weekly bearish, we've got the daily bearish, we've got the bias bearish, therefore irrespective of the 30-minute time frame. Stuck in a bit of a range. I'm not sure why I've drawn that in gray. Anyway, I'll leave it there. So why I've used that level is because below the current support, you're not going to sell, or you could sell it, but you'd be selling into support, and there is about 7 pips, 6 pips. So to me, it wouldn't make any sense to do so. Right now, as we can see, we're trading right within the middle of this range. The M30 structure is technically bullish. It's the only time frame that is bullish. So therefore, could trade in either direction. Based off the M30, you could be looking for buys, but at this stage, what I prefer for the buys is price to come back down to the support, opening up this range to give you a little bit more margin, and then await a price action catalyst to look for a buy from lower down. And very similar for the sellers. I'd rather it pop up, clean move up, cut through the mess to the left, and then look for rejection around that 190, 179, 750 sort of level, and then potentially sells back down. And buys above, on a closure above that point, clean traffic to the left. That is your next potential option, but at the moment it is a mess. It's just consolidating right in the middle of the range. Therefore, really the best option is just to wait, let it create some clean moves, and then either look for buys from support or sells from resistance. or buys above. For the to the downside, probably want to see a credit clear move, pull back, reject, and then look for the sells. That is the GCAD for anyone who may be interested. Any other pairs, let me know, guys. If anyone's got a request for me to look at, I'm happily do analysis. I'm the only streamer who won't whinge and say send me a chart first. I'll tell me what pair you want me to analyze and I'll do it. Guys, have any questions, any charts, please feel free to ask. Honestly, guys, the best way to learn. You might as well take advantage of these streams. Sumin, look, it should work generally through any time of the day where there's a bit of volume. I trade mainly London, so for me it's London session. It just suits my availability. I also know there's going to be volume, but however, when I do trade Asian session, I find the results are quite good as well. So what I've found is during the Asian session, I'm not sure where you're from, mate, but I'm over here in Oz. It's generally around the 11 AM candle my time, where I get quite a lot of volume, where price does tend to give some decent moves. The catalyst tends to present usually around that time of day for me. NY doesn't suit me too much because of the time. Right now it's 11 PM the open. After next week it'll be 12 PM I think, when US wind their clocks back. And I've never really traded an NY session for an extended period of time, to be honest. I found it difficult to find the time for it. I would say London session, just because I've got the data, back it up. But look, so long as there's volume in the market, the only time I feel where there really isn't any volume is that dead period between end of NY session leading into pre-Asian, where the spreads go nuts as well. If you guys haven't noticed, you get massive spreads across the board basically. I mean, aside from that, maybe towards the end of Asian session, probably I would say maybe an hour or 2 hours before EU Open, it can be a little bit quiet as well. But having said that, I sometimes see some nice clean moves happen around that time of day as well. So
Justin, I have a question about the runners. So
the runner?
Yeah. So when you are cutting, I don't know, 8% profit.
Yep.
How often at the end such a runner hit then the full TP?
Full TP.
My question is at the
yep.
end, if it makes sense maybe that you also take some partials in between of that runner.
Yeah, sometimes I actually do it sometimes, and I think it's circumstantial as well, and just how I'm feeling at the time. If I want to secure or if I'm happy just to let it go. Normally in this case, I probably would come to London Open. I'd probably just secure another half of what's left, but that'd only be 10% of the original trade. But yeah, I sometimes do it, but I actually quite often do it, to be honest. Okay. But I feel so long as you have a realistic target, and I always tend to do so, then there's nothing wrong with keeping it open. Maybe trailing stops a little bit. So as we know, a lot of runners get taken out. Majority of the time they do get taken out.
Yeah, so that means for me that you are taking also some profits out of the runners at the end.
Yep, that's also fair enough. So again, it just depends on also how I'm feeling at the time. So I want to take some off.
In this case, for example, when I see that we are more or less at the resistance, so maybe it would make sense to take some partials in this area. But okay, I understood that maybe you see, okay, it's bouncing back from H4, and maybe you can hit the TP. I understand this, that it's depending. So it's some kind of feeling.
Yeah,
That
pretty
you have,
much.
right?
A bit of intuition.
Yeah, intuition. Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely would have made sense to even secure the whole thing right there, basically. 196,950. That is the beginning of that 30-minute resistance. Gold continuing up.
Gold is very strong right now, so
Yeah.
it's a little bit hard right now to get in off.
Yeah, it needs to really, for me to warrant considering any trade is right now, I needed this count to leave a bit of an upper wick, pull back a bit, maybe close around that 27, 30, 31 sort of level, and then maybe a limit order. Back of the hive, the resistance that's just broken.
For me, it seems very, very strong already.
Yeah, it's great to push. It may even tap into target, so that the option may not even be there. Oh, it's all good. At least follow the plan, the rules. DJ pulling back. Looks like the runner may get taken out. That's all good. Appreciate the questions, guys, as well. Thank you. Thank you for getting that chat moving a little bit. And once again, take advantage of the community offer for the Discord. I'm keeping an eye on that. Whoever is most active in the next few weeks will get a VIP membership. So get involved, guys. Spam the chat in there. Share some ideas. Send some charts, things like that. Carl, good morning to you. Quick hello again. Busy. Back to seeing you all next week. Nice one. Good to have you back, mate. Hope you've been going well. Hope you've been training well this week. Thank you as always for your support. Joe, DJ, possible sell. Let's look at that. So M30 structure is bearish. Daily counter probabilities to the downside. Wow, also low, high, low, low. Have we got any? Well, based off that, then potentially 15-minute bearish engulfing. Just depends what his closes, but yeah, it doesn't look bad, to be honest. I'm not going to jump in a sell after buying. There is a catalyst to sell it though. You've got 30-minute closing bearish on width to the upside below this resistance around at 196.950. It's also rejected 197 flat. You've formed a support on the 15. You're engulfing that bullish candle. So yeah, by all means, I think there could be options to sell on the next candle. Yeah, looks pretty good for a sell. Carl, no multi-million pound win on stream without me. Or like, what was that? Multiple figures more than anything. Few millions eventually. All good with me. Had a bit of a crap one last week chasing trades, but took a couple of days off to reset. It's always good when there's nothing wrong with doing that when you find that you may have let your emotions get the better of you for a particular week or day. So I think it's a pretty wise decision. The runner's about to be taken out on GJ. So the only issue now, if this continues to drop the next minute and bit, is it's eating into the margin. You've got to consider things like your stop loss, and at the moment, stop loss is going to be a huge one. So actually not that bad. 20 keeps dropping. 25 pips roughly, 26. You have about 20 once you count for spread, a 20 pip target. Still technically valid. But what I prefer to see, seeing its session open, is a decent upper wick. I'd start my stop loss at the high of this bearish candle, and as soon as it creates a decent upper wick, perhaps towards the open of that previous candle, that is a level I would consider it possible for it to pull back, grab a little bit more liquidity before heading back down in line with the previous candle. And then what you could do is, so it looks something like so. What you could do is, as soon as it gets triggered in, let's just say this is the upper wick, you can automatically start adjusting your stop loss to that point if and when it gets triggered in. That's already, you at that point mitigating risk. So my run is still actually in, I haven't been taken out just yet. Session open, so it's a pretty good closure, guys, for anyone interested in sells. Again, I'm not going to sell it after just being in a buy. Gold, yeah, it's closed a little bit too far above him for my liking. The fact of the matter is, there is not a great deal of margin up to the next resistance, so I'd be personally avoiding it at the moment. You've got, let's just measure it. You got about 13 pips or so. GG on the other hand looks pretty good. So if you are considering GJ sells, I'd just sell stop below of that candle. That's what I'd be looking at. So you'd be in it already. Maybe been slipped. That was a pretty quick drop. You know, dropped about 4 or 5 pips in a second. Not much of an upper wick though, so it doesn't make it easy to manage, because let's just measure it. If you were to adjust the stop loss to the entry count high, you'd have about 6 pip. Hard to manage based off that, because it's still very early into the candle. What you could do is cut half if it broke its own high again. But it looks pretty good. Again, I'm not in it. My run has been taken out of that original trade. And there is nothing on gold. GJ by far looks the best at the moment, yet again. And if I was in it now, I'd just adjust stop loss to maybe a fraction above, maybe a couple pips above the high of the entry candle. And then what you would have done at that point is mitigate risk by fair margin. That was the original stop loss. Let's just quickly measure that. About 26 pips. So you would have gone from a 26 pip stop to, let's just say, a couple pips above, to about a 7 pip stop. And that's a good way to manage it, because seeing you got a lower high, lower low, there is no need for it to pull back and break its own high. I wouldn't feel comfortable in it if that was to be the case. That's what I would look at if I was in it as far as trade management, but again, I'm not in it, so yeah, I'd be out if I was in it. Alright, GCAD making its way back to support, that's alright. Joe, you took it? Fair enough. The only thing I question is, because I think you said you took the sells. Oh, the buys from earlier, sorry. I mean, everyone's different though. I mean, no, there is no written law to take one trade a day, but I don't know, on a Friday I feel it's probably best if you have a win to begin. As long as you're managing it though, it ends up in a probably a profit for today. I mean, the idea was correct though, in my opinion, with the structure, with the bias as well. Those wick trades are stop. Yeah, they are. Because they're a lot more difficult to manage it. So yeah, for sure. Tricky thing on GJ is right now is the fact that the weekly is still forming a pretty strong bullish candle, but it's against the bias and the structure on every other time frame. So I mean, that's the reason why I was still considering the buyers and put the buyers earlier. Because normally on a Friday I rather trade in line with the bias or the weekly candle, and then they're all contradictory to one another. Gold, if anyone is interested in limit order, that's very good option to look for an entry at the high of that resistance. Once again, it's just closed a little bit too high up for me to really want to get involved, especially on the Friday. But it's not the worst entry. Our GJ is still oof.
Justin,
Yeah,
in regard to gold right now with this limit order,
yep.
If I see right now on the M50, so we are breaking the previous low of the M50 candle here.
Yep.
Is this not, this would be for me not a good signal at the end, or?
Yeah, because you got low, high, low, low.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'd look at it in 30 though and say 30 still well within the high of that low, sorry, of that previous candle. Not yet retested that zone. Looks like it's about to do so. And you can get a really good stop loss as well. So
yeah, the other point for me also here is so it's more than 50%, which is coming down from the previous candle.
yeah,
so
it's a pretty strong pullback.
pretty strong candle right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the good thing is it's happening early into the candle. For me, that means there's more chance of it bouncing off if it was to happen later into the candle and was the closure of the 15. And obviously that was to be the case. You're gonna have a strong 15-minute closure, and if the new candle broke the low of it, low high, low low, then there's a good chance it would come back down towards the stop loss. So yeah, it wouldn't be the worst entry just now. I mean, you'd be in about 4 pip profit right now, over just under 4 pips. But again, I'm not taking it personally. But it's good to keep an eye on it, just so you gain confidence when you see this sort of thing play out. So we'll keep an eye on it and see if it does eventually play out.
Okay.
On this one, your stop loss will be below the previous M30. Yeah, have about 8, 9. There you go.
So you could be already secure 10 pips then, yeah.
Pretty much. It was just under, I think, 9.7 or something. I'd be at break even though. Again, especially on a Friday.
Yeah.
And a matter of interest, is anyone in gold at the moment?
I'm not, but
Fair enough, but there you
would
go.
not be bad to be it.
Yeah, you'd be about 12 pips up in the moment, so good to see it work nonetheless.
Yeah, it would work. Yeah,
Yeah,
correct.
this is more the interruption play. You've had a decent push off support. You've had one candle closing back bearish. You've completely engulfed it, tapped into the high, and you would have had very little to no drawdown. And yeah, would have done the trick for around 11.7 pips, I think it was, to be exact.
Yeah, it was nearly 12 pips.
Yeah.
The issue what I had on the M50 candle was also maybe prices coming down to because it didn't create a lower wick on the previous M50 candle.
Yeah.
Maybe only because of that, but at the end, your area, your support area or resistance area at the end was below that, quite below.
Yeah.
And
that's where it's tapped into.
But prices pushes more down.
Yeah.
Tap into that. So yeah, really not a bad decision, Justin. Or a good setup at the end also here.
Yeah. Well, we had taken it, but nonetheless, great to see it play out. So once again, just what this does is give you more confidence for those who aren't so familiar with this type of entry. Gives you more confidence to consider taking it moving forward. GJ, a lot of volume, but it's now a little bit indecisive in the middle of this range, so time to wait on GJ. Gold doing its thing, so you'd have over 13.5 pips on the table. Joe, would you have taken it if you hadn't traded yet? Look, it's easier to say after the fact. I reckon I probably would have, as I saw this candle approach quite quickly to that zone. If it was approaching only just now, I've been a little bit put off, because then I'd be saying in 15-minute likely going to close an engulfing candle. Be a bit concerned that new candle create a bit of an upper wick, break low, and then continue back down to the support around at 27.26. But if it was that hadn't taken a trade and opened up as it did, I reckon I would have very, very much considered, likely would have looked to taking a small entry with the stop loss below the previous candle's low. Would have been pretty tight stop loss as well, by the looks of it. Not a, yeah, about 18 pips or so. Not a bad one.
Justin, a quick question. How much time you will stay in?
On the London stream.
Yeah, right now.
This call. Not too sure. It just depends on the numbers as well, to be honest. Maybe I'll see how this M30 closes, and then we'll see.
Okay, now I'm asking because I would step out for more or less 20 minutes maybe. And if I will not hear you anymore, then I would wish you a nice weekend.
Not a problem, mate. Well, you keep the call on just in case that around.
I'll keep it
but
on.
if obviously if it's ended, then you know.
Yeah.
And likewise to you, my friend. So thank you as always for your support.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Yeah, so the runner will be out now on goal. Get a bit of volume though. When let's silver, nice little break out here. Silver is at highest levels against the US dollar it's been at for the last 12 years. At all-time highs against a lot of other currencies similar to gold. Tommy Jordan, mate, how are you? Hope all is well. All good, mate, all good. Yeah, I'm back in dreary old Melbourne as well. Bit of a weather change, but all good, mate, all good. Just a bit knackered, but yeah, back. Been a good comeback too. Small win on Wednesday, no trade yesterday, and a nice win on GJ open proceedings today on the buy from support just there. So been going well, mate. I hope you're well. Good stuff. Nice to see you back. Cheers, mate. Appreciate the support. Thank you. Where in the world is Tommy John at the moment? Still over in England, or have you made a shift? England for a minute. Hong Kong 12th December. Lucky you, mate. Bet you're hanging. Gonna be a bit of a culture shock. I'm not. Have you been before? I haven't, to be honest. But from what I've seen, it's a bloody busy place. So they build up because they got no way of housing everyone. Towards the sky, higher and higher. 17 looks amazing though, yeah. Seeing those little, I think they call them coffin rooms. It's literally like all you can fit is like a single bed, basically, and basically nothing else. They've got a communal toilet and shower, and they just have shelving, and they place everything on a shelf. And imagine that. That'd be, mate. Tough. These tough conditions. Those being outdoors is even tougher, but that wouldn't be that much better. Bit of a sea change. So I'm assuming you've been down to your local Chinese shop of late, studying the menu. Hardly the same though, wouldn't it be? It'd be nothing like what you'd eat over there. All right, so gold looks like it's going to close a pretty strong bearish candle on LDM30. So for me, what I probably want to see is either A, price come back down further and form support back at the lows, or B, look for some sort of catalyst to form above this previous minor resistance. So could change that to the 30-minute zone, seeing it is technically a 30-minute resistance, potentially turn support. But my guys will know the catalyst in this situation is either A bullish engulfing candle, which is you have that, you're not going to have the margin to take the buy either way, and you're going to have wide stop loss, not going to be worth it. So the better option would be option B, where we have the 30-minute closing back bullish, but within it we've got maybe a little bit of a pause in a 15-minute time frame. So what I mean by that is something that may look a bit like so. So the first 15-minute closes maybe like this, wick into the range below and then to reject and close above, followed by the next M15 closing a weak bearish candle. Then what you've got after all that is a 30-minute candle that will still close back bullish, still confirming support above previous resistance, and will look somewhat like so. And then, so you got support above resistance, you've got a minor pause, minor resistance formed above the support, if that makes sense. Your candle opens up, lower wick, begins to break the high of the previous candle. There's your entry, high, 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 low, sort of bullish candle. That's the type of scenario I'd be looking for if I was to look for a buy above the current level. Now the other one would be, and this is again free education guys, so you should smash the like button if you have not already done so. The other one could be maybe the 15-minute, first 15-minute candle might close bearish candle, even close in the range below. One wick down, and that might be followed by, only to be followed by a bullish engulfing candle, or engulfing the body, either or. Preferably engulfing the candle itself. But what that will do is leave the M30 looking somewhat like so, a weak bullish candle, long wick to the downside, rejecting the previous range. And there's a high probability as the new candle opens up, small low wick, it begins to break the high, there's the potential entry. So that's what I'd be looking at. That's just, again, type of catalyst I want to see in this sort of situation. The optimal catalyst in any case is likely to be, is what I like to see anyway, is this. But the fact of the matter is, if you were to wait for that, you got to consider that price could reject this point here, 27.34 flat. You've got not even 10 pips if that was to be the case to target that level. So logically it would not really make any sense, to be honest, because it could reject, you may not even get to that 10 pips. You probably wouldn't even have 10 pips either way as your target. So the better option would be wait for option B, what I mentioned earlier. But if it eventuates or not, it's another story, you know, no one knows. But all you can do is plan ahead as to what you'd like to see at those levels. And that's what I provide my guys. It's all in the course, it's all in the educational videos. Yeah, so that's what I'd be looking at. Music for life, solid stream, keep it up, great work, appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate the kind words, because it's not easy, honestly. It's frustrating too, because I feel, and I know I was away for a while, so kind of makes sense as to why I'm not getting the viewers, but I really feel I should be up there, to be honest. I provide education. I analyze any chart. I don't, like I said, don't, you know, require you guys sending me a chart in first before I analyze it carefully. And we know when we take a trade, there's a high chance it's going to be a winning trade. Not always, but we know there's a high chance it's going to be a decent trade. So not sure what more can do, but we'll get there in time. But yeah, it's important that you guys continue to follow me, and we'll get there. To any of the members on a call, I was gonna jump on a quick call after this stream with you guys to see if anyone wanted to vent or to let me know, or you know, how well they went this week or what they struggled with. So I'll stick around for a bit if anyone is available. Alright, so that's gold, guys. That's what as I mentioned before, what I want to see. GJ at the moment is just starting to now print more data within this range. It's starting to consolidate, it's starting to become a bit of a mess within the current range. So very difficult now. The M15 quite evident. So in this situation, what I prefer to see is let it create a move. Now, it would be a clean move up, close or above that resistance. There you go. There's going to be options to buy it. Clean move up, reject the resistance, may even pop above it, only to reject. Then you're going to be looking for your sell, your catalyst, or for a sell, take it back down. Next option will be pop back down to support, clean it down, form support, look for your price action catalyst to buy it, and continuation sells below to low. Obviously it is in downtrend, and if it was to break that support, retest it, begin to pull away from it. All this I prefer to happen on the 30-minute. You can use the 15 as added confluence to see what's going on within 30-minute candles, for instance. That's what I'd be looking at. My name is DJ, and I did go over gold. Quickly, any other pairs you guys would like me to quickly take a look at? 30 minutes just closed. A strong closure on GCAP, but you're right back in the middle there, so be nothing for me. Alright guys, well on that note I'm gonna wrap it up. Yeah, I've got a little busy evening ahead, so just quickly guys, thank you for your support since I've come back the last few days. We'll get the numbers up, just keep at it. You guys are fantastic and I appreciate all your support. If you're not done so, make sure to hit the like button on the way out. Also, if you'd like to know any more about the services or you've not yet done so, join the free Discord group. The link should be active down below. And once again, if you do, I'm keeping an eye on whoever is the most active person over the next few weeks. You will get a free VIP membership. So don't be shy guys, don't be shy. Let's get that chat rocking. Suman, thank you. Everyone else, thank you very much. I will be back from Monday, same time, same place. Looking forward to it. And let's all have a good weekend. Trade safe if you are trading into NY. Cheers guys, take care, have a good one. Bye guys.